And breathe, guys, and breathe. What an intense 2 hours that we just had, guys. I'm going live, but my heart is still beating, super strong, super fast. Yeah, it was intense. Napoli got the job done. 2-0. We won against Fiorentina. But we had to fight for it because Fiorentina, although they are safe, although they've got nothing to play for, it seemed like it was the game of their lives. And it's almost like Napoli wasn't prepared for that. So, but in the first half, 0-0, Fiorentina actually had a goal disallowed for offside. And in the second half, a little bit of help from Fiorentina because of their ingenuity of pulling on Rahmani's shirt. Napoli got a penalty. Insigne missed the penalty. The goalkeeper saved it. Luckily, it bounced back right to Insigne, and he put it away for the 1-0. And then another little bit of luck for the second goal. Although it was beautifully worked by Napoli, Zielinski's shot was going wide, but it hit a Fiorentina player and beat the Fiorentina keeper. So, guys, it was super intense. I could not even focus on the game. I was like this the whole time, just stressing out. So there's absolutely no tactical analysis. There is player ratings, but forget tactical analysis, guys. It just wasn't the day for that. Let's see who we got in the house today. We got Inter fan and football. As an Inter fan, I want to apologize for all of Inter. We're truly sorry and will become Napoli fans for the rest of the season. ID beats Rahmani, winning 2 of the most important penalties of the season versus Juventus and versus Fiorentina away. Really important contribution from him. I totally agree. He's been outstanding in recent times. It doesn't matter how we played. We sometimes need some luck. Exactly. And I was really pleased by this result. It breaks a lot of mental barriers and the fear the players had of not winning. I had that fear, I'll be honest with you. It seemed like 2018 throwback, especially at the end of the first half when we weren't winning it. But we managed to beat those demons of the past. Daniel Bowen, thank you for your donation. So kind. Dom, what a great game. I wouldn't say it was great, but yeah, what a game. Can you go over the 3-way tie if that happens between Milan, Atalanta, and Napoli? Okay, yeah, we'll go over that later on in the video. We'll discuss, there's obviously Milan still has to play tonight, so that will depend on their result, but we'll see. Guys, make sure you smash that like button if you like the channel, if you want to support it, if you want me to donate 1 cent to the Fondazione Cannavaro Ferrara. I think in the month of was it April that just passed, we only raised around €8, guys. What's that about? What's that about? So make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing, because for every one of those gestures, I'll donate 1 cent to Fondazione Cannavaro Ferrara to help children in Naples. Obviously, 2 ex-Napoli players leading that charity. Let's see. Paul Vives Escobar, man of the match, Nitika Contini. That was hilarious. Napoli's third keeper, obviously like youth product, so he really feels it. Ran onto the field, celebrated that second goal with Zielinski, and got himself booked. Man of the match for sure. I can't believe he didn't make it to my player ratings, though. I don't even think I have a picture of him to put on my player ratings. But we'll see next season. Maybe he's going to be, the second goalkeeper instead of the third goalkeeper for Napoli. Joey Guardado is saying, I didn't feel like watching it because it was 3 a.m. Yeah, these early kickoff times make absolutely no sense to me, considering that most of the TV audience is in Europe and America, especially when it comes to, teams like, let's say, a Napoli or Fiorentina. I mean, I understand if you're Inter and you've got Chinese backing, then you might want to play games that are going to be seen in China at a reasonable time. But since we don't have that with Fiorentina and Napoli, why are we playing so early on a Sunday? But it happened. We won. That's fine with me. Lejko Vasic is saying, let's do the job tonight and keep Juve out. I think you're a Milan fan. Come on. Let's work together. Let's eliminate Juventus from the top 4. Sam Bacca was on fire. Yo, Bacca, since I made that song, it's like I woke up a beast. All right? So I take full credit for his performance. I don't want to hear anyone say it's all thanks to him. No. It's thanks to me, guys. Thanks to me. No, I'm kidding. But Bacca, guys, great end of the season. And I'd just like to say, if you have your weakest players, your Bakayokos, your Hizais, your Rahmani, on paper, your weakest players, if you get to the point of the season where they are performing, where they are no longer a liability, that's when you've got a chance of winning every game. You are only as strong as your weakest player, and if you have Bakayoko, Rahmani, Hizai, all performing, all of a sudden, you can start getting victories. Because they're not a liability anymore. They become that extra person that you never really had when you were dropping points. Because sometimes it really did seem like we were playing in 10 or 9 players when we had people like Bakayoko not playing well, Izai not playing well, Rahmani was a liability his first few games. Even players like Petagna weren't doing so great. But now that they're starting to play well, all of a sudden you've got 11 good players that you can rely on. I want Frank Ribéry next season. How tough is that guy? I don't know, man. He's done. He's like 37. I don't think we really need him. Sport TV 2014. Osimhen was great today. Real fight. Great ball to Insigne. Osimhen, we say he's fast. We say he's clever. We say so many things. One thing that we never really talked about is his skill, his technical ability, and that pass just proved that he has it. He's a complete package. Guys, we saw one of the players that has scored the most goals this season, celebrated by everyone, Vlahovic in Fiorentina, right? That guy does nothing for the team. He's just the he just finishes off whatever Fiorentina do. Osimhen, on the other hand, he does other things. He stretches out defenses. He can do those long passes. He's a more complete player, and he has the potential to score just as many goals as Vlahovic. So he's going to be not only as deadly as him, but he's going to be a better asset to whatever team he's with. Obviously, it's going to be Napoli, but for anyone that was maybe trying to compare him and Vlahovic, this is my view on the two. ID saying, Contini legendary, getting yellow carded without playing a single minute. Honestly, that is life goals. That is life goals. Just, being basically a meme, Love to see that guy play at one point. I'd love to. He seems like a fun guy. Dyed his hair, these bleach yellow, I want to see him on the field one day. It is now Baka Goat. Manolas and Fabian, unsung heroes today, in my opinion. I do think that they were good. I think their partners were better. I thought Rahmani and Bakayoko were better than Fabian and Manolas. And we'll see that in the player ratings. But everyone had a really, really good game. Vincenzo Bertillo, under Sarri, lost it at the hotel, under Gattuso, kept our heads, got the scrappy win, and clean sheets. Woo! Shots fired, man. I mean, look, guys, I know some of you are still like madly in love with Sarri. And I just like to, I wish I could highlight that comment, man. I wish I could highlight that because it's nice to sometimes live in the past. We did play good football. It was nice while it lasted. Everything was great. But then when it really mattered, in 3 years, 0 trophies. And that night in Florence. Not a good night. A bad night. That's the summary of Sarri in concrete terms. That's a summary of Sarri. With Gattuso, instead, Coppa Italia. So he's got a trophy within his first 6 months. And then when the pressure is on, he delivered. And I'm sure that without injuries, this team could have done better. This is now 42 points in 18 games. We're on course for 45 points in 19 games. That's half of the season. 45 points, 19 games. With basically the team, even in those first 5 or 6 games that I'm talking about, we weren't complete. But he still managed 42 points, potentially going to be 45. We're talking about 90 points a season average for Gattuso. That's on par with Sarri. So everybody that, keeps talking about Sarri, it's like, okay, we get it, he was great, but Gattuso is also doing a good job. And that's who we have at the moment. That's who we need to support. And he's the guy that came to Florence and didn't screw things up. So, there's going to be others maybe. Gattuso's not going to stick around forever. Coaches nowadays, it's 2-3 years. They're done, the days of your Sir Alex Ferguson 20 years, Wenger 15 years. They're done, okay? You might get a Simeone, might get a Klopp that stays a bit longer. But relatively speaking, guys, everyone stays 2 or 3 years. They finish their little parentheses and then they go off somewhere else. And I think, in Gattuso's 3rd season with us, if he stays, it could be something really good. But if he goes, I still think that this team is capable, with the players that it has, of 90 points a season. It's the same sort of points that it's the same pace that we're having in the last 6 months. It's what we did 3 years ago. It's what I think this team needs to achieve and can achieve with the players that we have, regardless of the coach, unless he's maybe Ancelotti, who doesn't know how to coach. But that's a different story, obviously. I'm saying any decent coach, Allegri, Spalletti, I think will be able to get 90 points a season with this team. Let's see. I don't think I've ever become more excited for a player than I've been for Osimhen. Such an incredible player, says Leao. Proles Osimhen over Pelé. I mean, I've never seen Pelé play. Not that old. I don't think, though, that Osimhen is up to that level. Not saying, can't be one of the greats. He's still so young. Who knows what will happen with Osimhen? But, yeah, I'm excited as well. I'll leave it at that. Anthony Navarro, welcome back. Morning, guys. Just woke up. Glad to see we won. Can't wait to go over this game with you all. Smash that like button. Anthony, good morning to you. As I said in the introduction, guys, this game was so intense. I was so nervous, so on edge, that for the first time this season, I wanted to make an analysis of it, but I couldn't. I just could not have one eye on the game and one eye doing an analysis. I was so into the game. So there's just going to be player ratings. But we'll talk still about, I saw the game. So we'll talk about some of the key moments. Edis Hodzik. Man, you guys have some tough names. You guys are challenging me. Can you say hi to my brother, Nick Gore? He is a big Napoli fan. Of course I will. What's up, Nick? Hi. Is that good? Is that good? Okay. I hope that's good enough. Shout out to Nick. Paul Vives Escobar. Fiorentina players know that there's a rivalry between them and Juventus. They were playing like it was the UCL final. Okay, so there was some rumors that, and I'm not sure if this is fake news or not, but there's some rumors that basically if Juventus qualify for the Champions League, it triggers an extra 10 million euros that Juventus needs to pay Fiorentina for Chiesa. So if that's true, it would make sense for Fiorentina to want to win. That enables the club to have an extra 10 million euros. If that's not true, I have no idea why Fiorentina was playing like it was the Champions League final. I mean, these guys were, for one, in the second half, all right? In the second half, it was still 0-0. Like the 47th minute, something like that, guys. It was a throw-in for Fiorentina, and they took like 2 minutes to play that throw-in, wasting time. The tackles that they were putting in, it made no sense to me. This is a team that is safe, has nothing to play for on paper in the league, It just, the level of competitiveness was a bit too high in my opinion. So yeah, it was. I struggled to understand that. Blue line, Napoli is a really strong team. 8 players scored 9 goals or more this season. Roster is way better than with Sarri, though, says Dino Bowen. That's true. The roster that we have is better. The squad that we have is more complete. That's for sure. But the starting 11 was better with Sarri. I'm sorry, but Pepe Reina in goal is better than what we have. Albiol is better than Manolas. Gulam is better than Mario Rui. Amsic, Alan, Jorginho is a better midfield than Fabian, Demme, Bakayoko. Higuain and Prime Mertens is better than Osimhen. It just is. At the moment, Osimhen can be a better player, but at the moment it is. So the starting 11 that Sarri had was the best starting 11 Napoli has ever had. If we look at the squad, we do have a bigger squad now. We don't have any more Rog and Diawara on the bench, but we have players like, we had Lozano today on the bench, Mertens was on the bench. We can bring in more quality players, that's for sure. Demmit wasn't even used. So on the bench we have more options, okay. But the starting 11 that Sarri had, you'd expect that team to beat almost anyone in Europe. Almost anyone in Europe. The fact that he couldn't get that starting 11 to at least the Champions League quarterfinal is a failure, in my opinion. Is a failure. Because in one-off games, that team can beat anyone. So, Timo Sebrecht is saying, I'm missing Hamsik. Yeah, Hamsik is one of those players, man. I really miss him. Zassi Boy saying, I think Gattuso tactics in the second half was for the players to learn, try to adapt to Fiorentina's tactics. That's always going to be the case. I think, guys, the key moment in the game was the break between the first half and the second half. Because in the first half, Napoli struggled because we were scared. We had the demons of the past in our heads. We were playing the ball too safe, too slow, too predictable. We weren't risking it. We weren't playing free. We weren't playing fun football. We weren't having fun. There was nothing that was technically showing that, oh, these players are out there having fun. And then in the second half, do you guys remember the Zielinski flick? That was the moment, I think, that we had already scored with Insigne at that point. But when Zielinski does that flick, and we had other moments like that in the second half where they showed a bit more creativity, then you know, okay, these players, they've been told to just go out there and have fun. And that's what these players needed to hear. They needed to hear to just go out and play and have fun. Because that's what they did in the last 2 games, and they scored 9 goals in the last 2 games, playing like that. But we started the first half scared. And you're never going to achieve anything if you go out and you're scared against a team like Fiorentina. And you can tell that they were scared by that Insigne penalty. You can tell a little bit. I mean, Insigne didn't smash that ball into the back of the net. He didn't do his usual, wait for the keeper to go one way and he went the other. No. Insigne, sloppy penalty. Lucky that it came back to him for the rebound. But you could tell that, man, that ball was heavy. That was a heavy, heavy ball to pick up, put on the ground, and put your foot through that. I don't know how he did it. I don't think I would have had the nerve to take that penalty, honestly. It's like the hardest thing to do in football, taking a penalty. But he did. He missed, but he got lucky. But you could tell just from the way he shot it that it was heavy. That ball was heavy, man. It wasn't an easy thing to do. But he took the responsibility, right? And that's why I think in the player ratings, I mean, before we actually go in to look at what's left of the remaining games, I mean, if we look at the player ratings instead, that's why Insigne is one of the top performers today, because when it mattered the most, the free kicks, the penalty, when it really mattered, he took responsibility and he delivered. He hit the crossbar in the first half with the free kick. He took the penalty. Okay, not the greatest penalty, but he was there. And you know what, guys? Go check out the highlights that will be on YouTube soon. All right? Go check out the highlights, and you will notice that as the referee was looking at the VAR screen, Insigne was walking down picked up the ball, and he was walking down towards the penalty spot and just waited. And it took about 2 minutes, guys, for the referee to be able to make his decision on what was a clear penalty. But Insigne waited, calm, collected. That's a lot of pressure he put on himself. It's a lot of pressure, and it showed a lot of confidence. It's a signal to the team. It's a signal that you're not just waiting for the referee to make up his mind and give you the penalty. No, Insigne was showing to his teammates, you know what, we're going to get the penalty. We're going to get it, and I'm going to score, and I'm here, and I'm ready to score. So, leadership is what I saw today from Insigne. And that's a huge improvement compared to him a few months ago, where I thought maybe his leadership wasn't at the right level, and I criticized him for it. Let's see. IDB to saying we were up against Real Madrid, though. Real Madrid are another class altogether. Fine, fair enough. But we finished second in the group. That's why we were up against Real Madrid. Not good enough. Which player would you sign during the summer, says Edis Hodzic. I think we need midfielders, because I'm not even sure what you see on the screen here. Bakayoko, Fabian are going to be with us next season. So we definitely need midfielders. And we need a left back. 100%. We cannot rely on Hizai. He's a right-footed player, adapted on the left, doesn't give you the ability to swing in crosses. Mairarui is the alternative, not good enough. We need better. We need better, because if you want to utilize your attacking options to the max, you need quality crosses in the box. And he's also been a bit of a liability in defense, and so has Mairarui. So we just need a more complete left back. Let's see. So many comments, guys. Make sure you are smashing the like button if you're happy that Napoli won. There's about 60 of you right now live and only 40 likes. What's up with this, guys? You guys know that 1 like and 1 sub is worth a donation to the Fondazione Cannavaro and Ferrara to help kids in Naples. So ID Beats, I don't blame Sarri for not getting us a deep Champions League run. Champions League is a lot about luck and about which opponents you draw. If you draw Real Madrid, then it's difficult. Okay, fine. I won't continue with Sarri. Insigne recreating that penalty of Ronaldo yesterday. I was so scared when he took it. Guys, I'll admit, I didn't look at the penalty. I couldn't look. And I've looked at almost every single penalty, like in the key moments of big games. I looked at, the 2006 penalty shootout between Italy and France. I always look at penalties. I'm always, able to hold myself together. But for this one, I had to look away. And then only when the commentator, said that Insigne missed, and I was, oh, guys, you should have been here. You should have been here, seeing my reaction. If only I do things live during the game, except I'm afraid of the lag, and that's why I don't do watch-alongs. But, yeah. Can someone search this guy on TikTok? He's a Juventus fan. His nickname is Chiesa for life. Why? I'm not sure. Anthony Navarro, damn, Rahmani put work in today. How solid we talking? Anthony, if you go into Rahmani's pocket, you will find Vlahovic. He kept him there the whole game, in his pocket, intercepting every header that was coming towards Vlahovic. Rahmani was there every single time. Vlahovic did nothing today. Zero. He was man-marked by Rahmani. Rahmani didn't give him an inch of space, never turned around, never looked dangerous. Not only that, but Rahmani is the guy that got us the penalty in the first place. And not only that, guys, not only that, but he took the responsibility to go to the referee and protest. Because Napoli, guys, something that Napoli really lacks, really lacks, is sometimes we're not aggressive enough. You know, you see Chiellini, Bonucci, stuff like that. Whenever there's something that goes against them, they go straight to the referee. Straight there. It's annoying, but it works. Napoli, they're a bit like, you know, like the nice guy, you know, they're like, okay, well, like, whatever, I'll just, you know, stay quiet. No, you've got to take that initiative. You've got to, you know, sometimes go to, with respect, but sometimes you've got to go to the ref and show him that your shirt got pulled. And he did that. He took responsibility for that. He did it in the right way, and the ref had to go and relook at, you know, that incident. So, you know, great performance by Rahmani. For Napoli's second goal, instead, let's talk about Napoli's second goal. Napoli's second goal starts off, actually, if you guys take a look at the highlights, which will be posted on, you know, the Serie A channel quite soon, maybe in like 20 minutes. If you guys take a look at the highlights, it starts off with a Fiorentina counterattack. And Politano, who is miles away from the ball, rushing back, retrieving the ball, and then it goes to Di Lorenzo. And, you know, this is where Di Lorenzo, I really liked him today, because even at 1-0 up, instead of playing it safe, he was thinking about getting that second goal. And he goes on a run for, you know, half the field before sending it to Osimhen. But it's that run from Di Lorenzo that starts everything off. It's that, you know what, let's get that second goal. Let's not, you know, just keep the ball, play it around the back. No, let's go, let's run, let's attack. There's space in front of us. He gives it to Osimhen. Osimhen then runs with the ball, stretches the defense even further. And you have Insigne and Zielinski in support, running on the other side. And Osimhen picks out a beautiful pass, one of the passes of the season, across the field to Insigne, perfect on his foot. Insigne cuts it back to Zielinski, who takes a shot with his left foot, hits the defender, and is deflected in the goal. And that seems like, you know, that last bit was lucky, but there was a lot of decision-making that happened before that, which showed that Napoli wanted that 2-0. And they showed great technique, especially with Osimhen. What a cross, says Salvatore Di Brita. I know. Osimhen's cross was out of this world. Out of this world. If Isai got a yellow for the shirt pulled, why didn't Milenkovic? Sal, that's another great point. That is another great point. How Fiorentina ended the game with 11 players is mind-boggling. Ribéry should have gotten a red card. He had at least 3 yellow card offenses. One, you know, at your second, you should be sent off. Milenkovic was on a yellow, gave away a penalty for Fiorentina, and wasn't booked for that. And then there was someone else. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. But there was someone else that needed to be sent off for Fiorentina as well. And as Sal is saying, Giovanni Di Lorenzo's Italy's best right back. No question about it. No question about it. He had, you know, guys, you have to also understand, right? These guys, okay, they're like, I know most of you that like watch my channel, you're like in your 20s, 30s, you know. Some are a bit younger, some are a bit older. But these guys, you know, they're our age. They've got, you know, their private lives and stuff like that. That can affect your performance on a field, you know? I mean, they don't live, what I'm trying to say is they don't live like super mundane lives where it's everything's going, just everything smoothly. I mean, you have to think that Di Lorenzo, I think he had a daughter in the last year, right? So he's only been able in the last 6 months probably to get some sleep, guys. I mean, this guy a year ago, in the middle of COVID, got a daughter and probably, for the first 6 months couldn't sleep or something. Not that I know anything of that, because I'm not a dad, but I can just imagine, being a young guy like Di Lorenzo, having to take care of a child and then, expected to like perform at the highest level, with like zero sleep. I can only imagine, and it's like, these guys are not even ready, to take care of themselves, and now they're taking care of like entire families and expected to, perform. It's going to take some adaptation, some period of getting used to. And, now that, that's now a year old now or whatever, now he's, been able probably to get more rest, more used to it. Now it's like his normal thing, and, off you go, and you're playing well again. So there's private. What I'm trying to say is that there's private things that happen in these players' lives that affect their performances as well, and we got to consider that. So that's why I think in the first 6 months of the season he was quite poor. I think it was honestly just a lack of sleep. I mean, this guy was dead on the field in the first 6 months. Anyways, I don't know if I'm like completely wrong with that, but it was just something that came to my mind when I saw that he was celebrating the birthday of his daughter on Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that explains a lot of things. Anyways, what else are we saying? I respect referees. I mean, the refs. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything malicious that goes on with referees. I used to think that way, and to be honest, we do have history in Italy where things are corrupt. 2018 was an example. This season, I don't know because I've seen enough things go against Juventus, and honestly, enough things go for their rivals like Milan, that I'm thinking, I don't know if there's a scheme here to help Juventus or not. I don't know. I think maybe not so much this year, and especially maybe not so much since the whole Super League thing. I think there's the relationship between Juventus and the Serie A is maybe not so good at the moment. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, guys. But I don't think the refs have an agenda. I don't think so. Maybe some. Maybe they're secret fans of Juventus, but I don't want to believe that. I want to live in my little naive world. And yeah, it is what it is. Cáceres, though, as Timo says, Cáceres, ex-Juve player, man, he really wanted to win today. He was having he hates playing. I mean, he loves playing against Napoli. He hates us for some reason ever since his Juventus days. Let's see. You can't deny that the refs do favor Juve in some way. There's no way that a VAR shouldn't have been reviewed last night, says Daniel Bowen. Look, as I said, maybe there is something there. But I've also seen enough to suggest that if they really wanted to help Juve, there was some instances in other games where things didn't go for them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this year is a year that we can really talk about that. I don't think this year. There's been mistakes, but I'd like to think they're just mistakes. Let's see. Yeah, and as IDB is saying, 1 or 2 bad calls doesn't make it rigged. And I'm not gonna throw out accusations. I'm not gonna do that. Nor do I care. Guys. I don't care. And, I said this on Twitter. Guys, follow me on Twitter. You've seen Napoli Talk over there on the screen. I put a post on Twitter yesterday that I said the problem with Napoli is that the fans have a victim mentality, guys. And I'm sure a lot of people must have been triggered by that. A lot of people, but it's true. It's true, guys. Let me put my big face out here for you guys. Guys, Napoli fans, a lot of us in the Napoli community have a victim mentality. which is wrong. Guys, really, really wrong. We're always blaming other people. We're always blaming the ref. We're always thinking, oh, scansuolo. You know, what we say in Italy with Sassuolo, because that's a joke about how they always like get out of their way for Juventus. Oh, the refs, oh this, oh that. Guys. How are we ever going to be a top team if we keep making excuses? How are we ever going to be a top team if we keep making excuses? So what that some teams might play a bit harder against us, or might play a bit less hard against Juventus, or some referees are going to be tough against us and less tough against Juventus. So what? Think about yourself. You need to be a good enough team that you don't need to rely on getting a penalty, yes or no. You don't need to rely on, oh, we could have won today, but the ref gave a penalty for this team, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, then you weren't good enough. If you are playing against, Verona, a team like Verona, okay? And you rely on a refereeing decision, whether you win or lose, you are not good enough to win a title. Full stop. Full stop, guys. Full stop. It annoys me. It annoys me so much how much Napoli fans complain. Every little decision, every little thing. It's like, guys, we're not going to get anywhere like this. We need to have the mentality that if we didn't win the game because of the referee, then actually we maybe didn't do enough. We should be good enough that we outplay teams and score goals that the ref can't even say anything about. And if if they do get a penalty, the other team, against us, well then maybe we shouldn't have put even a slight hand on that player's back. Or stuff, it's like, it's always some ingenuity. The ref can't just give a penalty for absolutely no reason. Or maybe they can do that once or twice a season, but it's not the reason why you're not at the top. So, yeah, it's something that I see a lot with Napoli fans, and it triggers me. It triggers me, man. It triggers me because you guys have to do this. You guys have to be like this, not only with football, but in your personal lives as well. You can't just blame other people like, oh, that guy, is this compared to me, or this, or oh, this person didn't give me the job, and it's all because it's all this guys, just improve yourself. Put yourself in a position where you can't lose. That's the only thing you can control. So yeah, that's just my thing, and yeah. So I just like to say, I know I triggered a lot of people on Twitter yesterday. I know I did, but we need to change that mentality. We need to change it. We need to think that if we didn't win a game, it's because we weren't good enough. Yeah. And as Daniel's saying, Napoli should always focus on doing their part. Roberto saying, yeah, Dom, but that's the problem with Serie A. It's a fixed league, and that's why it's hard for people to want to invest in the league. It's going to be a very huge party here if Napoli wins next week. Oh, man, if Napoli wins next week, guys, I'm not sure what I'll do. I'm not sure if I should do a live during the game, a watch along, but I think my stream is like at least 2 or 3 minutes lagged compared to what's happening in reality, so it would be a bit weird. I don't know what I would do. We'll see. I've got a few days to think about it. Complimenti a Napoli e Forza Roma, Nino Bertucci. Nice to have rival fans join in. Thank you. Good job on the win yesterday, 2-0 against Lazio. Maybe the celebrations were a bit much. I mean, considering the league, you're still behind them. But, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Koulibaly was IDB to saying Dom giving out truth bombs. Man, I should be a guru. I should be a guru here, man. Anyways, Ansto123 is saying, I took time for Gattuso to get going. Lots of injuries. We need some more backups. A new wing back 4-1. For sure. I said this team has good depth, but there's some areas where we're clearly lacking, guys. We're lacking in left back. We're lacking, well, mainly left back. And if Bakayoko and Fabian leave, because I have a feeling that Fabian is going to leave this summer, then we do need to invest in midfield. And it's going to be interesting to see who we bring. I'd like to see someone from the Serie A that doesn't need adapting, because I do think that next season we can challenge for the title. Whatever happens next week, whether we finish 2nd or 5th, I do think that next season we can challenge for the title. So I want to be in a position where all the players are ready. I don't want to wait for the next, young guy to explode, and he's going to take like 6 months to do that, or a year, or some great player from some other league, but yeah, they're going to take maybe a year, like Osimhen, Lozano. No, I want someone that plays in Italy or plays already in a top team and is going to deliver at this level, and that's the level that you need. So someone like De Paul, Isaac M.A. Anthony Navarro is saying Benevento scored. Ooh, that is going to be interesting. Let's see. Benevento play against Crotone, I think it is. And if they scored with La Padula. And so now Benevento are 3 points away from Torino. They are 1 point away from Torino. Torino still have to play against Lazio, and then there's Torino-Benevento. So that is going to be a juicy game, a very, very juicy game. That's going to be interesting. I hope Benevento stays up, man, but I don't want Torino in Serie B. What is up with that? Could you imagine Torino in Serie B? That's a scary thought almost. That's a very scary thought, seeing Torino in Serie B. But now that I'm talking about all these things, why don't we actually take a look at the league here? So we'll go back to Fiorentina, Napoli, but as you see, Benevento 1 point behind Torino. That's crazy. 2 points behind Cagliari. Cagliari play against Milan tonight, so potentially Cagliari as well could go down. That's a crazy relegation fight, which is gonna be resolved at the last game of the season, probably, unless Torino beat Lazio and Cagliari beat Milan. But in the top half of the table is where it matters for Napoli. So Atalanta 78, they've got Champions League football. And then we've got Napoli 76, Milan 75, Juventus 75, with Milan to play against Cagliari today. So what are the options? Let's assume Milan loses. Well, you know what? How about I make a video midweek after Milan plays, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what options we have for the final game of the season. All right. So yeah. Otherwise, this live is gonna be a bit too long, and we're gonna be talking hypothetical. But we actually need to know what Milan do tonight before we say anything for certain. But yeah, it seems like our biggest rival is still Juventus. Still Juventus, guys. Because I do think that Milan's going to win tonight, and then it's just a matter of making sure we do as good as Juventus do next week. If they draw, we just need a draw. If they win, we need a win. Simple as that. Simple as that. I really like the addition of Politano. Has been great, says Ansto123. Yeah, he's been fundamental for us this season. Scored lots of important goals, especially I would say he was fundamental between February and April, when Napoli wasn't yet clicking, but his form got us those few points here and there, and it's what triggered Napoli to then go on this run that we have, this really long unbeaten run that you can see here. Out of all the teams, in the top half of the table, or basically the table in general, only Atalanta really have been on par with us in terms of the form that we've had in recent weeks. Cagliari winning against Milan tonight, says Timo Sebrials. I don't know. I don't think so. Belotti going to Roma, maybe. If he goes to Serie B, if Torino get relegated, Belotti will go to another club. I don't think he's staying with Torino in Serie B. When is Guardiola and Messi coming? Roma and Belotti would be a scary good fit. Just depends if Mourinho can do something. Yeah, Belotti, Mourinho, that would be a big improvement for Roma. I think one of their weaknesses has been their center forward position, because not that Dzeko's a bad player, but there's been a lot of times this season where he's not played, obviously because of Fonseca. But if they can get, a striker, a number 9 that can do the job better next season, then that's a few extra points for them for sure. Roberto is saying, I've critiqued Gattuso a lot, but even if he leaves, his positive attributes are definitely woven into this team's DNA, even for the next season. Forza Napoli talk. Roberto, yeah, I do agree, but this is the same structure of a team, same DNA really, that has been around for years. I mean, your Zielinski, Insigne, Koulibaly, the spine of the team has been around. It's an established team. And we've added little things here and there. We've added Politano, we've added Osimhen, we've added, here and there. And it's a really nice team to watch. It's a really good team. It's a fun team. But, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that I think any good coach can bring this team to the top. It's just a matter of who will it be. I'm hoping it's still Gattuso, just because I like the guy. And, you kind of go with a bit more certainty. But I'm sure if we get Allegri or Spalletti, they'll do quite good as well. Vertu coming to Napoli would be huge if it happens. Thoughts, Dom? Yeah, it would be huge. I think he's a good player. I think his stats are overrated. A lot of his goals are penalties. He's the penalty taker for Roma. So when you see all those goals that he scored as a midfielder, you think, at first thought, wow, but then you see that most of them are penalties. Apart from that, he's a tough guy. He has been linked with us in the past before. I think he's one of Roma's best players. He's a good passer. He's a complete midfielder. And I think he'd be really, really good for Napoli. Really, really good. I'm not sure if that will happen, though. I think Mourinho will try to keep him, for sure. Ancora un ultimo sforzo domenica ed il minimo è stato fatto, says Roberto Malan. So one last push on Sunday. One last push, guys. One last dance. I think that's gonna be the name. That's gonna be the name of the title of the next video. One last dance. Even though there's next season, there's always one more dance. But for this season, one last dance, guys. Like the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix. If you haven't seen that, you are missing out, guys. It's such a good documentary. Alexander, I know Napoli for sure, because that'll put them with 79 points. Yeah, 79 is the goal. Let's take a look at the match stats, Fiorentina, Napoli, and then, guys, I got to rush off, so won't take too long. But 6 corners to 3. Most of them came in the first half. Bakayoko got most of those headers, so that was good to see that we had a bit of presence in corners. You never know how important that could be in the final game against Verona, for example. So maybe start Bakayoko. He's been playing well. He's dominant in the air. Why not, right? Not that Demme is bad or he's better than Demme, but in a game where you just need a win, Maybe Bakayoko, eh? Even though that could be a surprise to most people. Yellow cards, lots for Fiorentina. I'm not sure how. It says one red card for Fiorentina, but it was some guy on. It was the goalkeeper Dragowski on the bench. So not, Fiorentina didn't play with 10 players. They still had 11 on the field, and yeah, 21 shots for Napoli. Lots from Insigne. We tried. Hit the crossbar, hit the post. Honestly, 2-0 is a fair result. If you look at the stats, it's fair. We had more possession, better pass accuracy, more passes, more shots on target, almost double what they had, more corners, less yellow cards. They were so many fouls. But overall, guys, we were the better team. We showed it. It was tough in the first half, but the second half was a different story. Anyways, guys, as I said, I got to rush off. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. As I said, I'm going to try to do a video in the middle of the week. Might be difficult, but I'll try to put something out there. I'll try my best to put something out there, guys, for the middle of the week. If you want that video, smash that like button. Let me know in the comments. And we'll see each other live together for the final game of the season. Might not be an analysis on that one either, like a tactical analysis, just because it's the final game of the season. I'm going to be super stressed, and one eye is going to be on the Juventus game, one eye is going to be on the Napoli game. They're going to be playing at the same time. So, that might make things a bit difficult. But yeah. We'll see each other. We'll see each other next week for sure. Anyways, guys, hope you have a great Sunday, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.